Good morning out there, you big, beautiful world. This is Jason, Zombie Collector, here on the tube. And if you see the title, you know what this is going to be about. It's going to be about AROD. So, it's going to be kind of like I don't know, like kind of just a sprawling conversation a bit about players that may have been able to rehabilitate their character. In every sport or form of entertainment or media, athletes and musicians and movie stars tend to sometimes have to rehabilitate themselves in some way because of some past transgressions. And so this is not anything new. And sometimes it's genuine, sometimes it's for the betterment of their pocketbooks or their fame or their celebrity or getting back on the field or court or whatever the case may be. And those times that are genuine, great. I think that's wonderful. You can see a true change in, actions and words and things of that sort. Other times, it's like I said, just to pad that pocketbook, just to make sure that they continue to make them dollar bills, y'all. So, for the longest time, talking about AROD, Alex Rodriguez of baseball fandom, he was one of those guys for me that I really liked early on in his career. Was a big fan. And then, the allegations came out about him and then the fact came out that he got caught juicing, doing, whatever, steroids or creams and lotions and pills and injections or whatever whatever them cool kids did back in the day, and maybe still continue to do apparently. And then just a general about his prima donna, his attitude in the clubhouse, his problems he had with Derek Jeter, and just in general, people just didn't like him. And I just kind of got, he was like Mr. Hollywood there for a while. He was dating like Jennifer Lopez and Madonna or something, and it just was like ridiculous. And it was becoming he was more popular about what he was doing off the field than he was doing on the field. Then he got suspended for I think a year and a half for the PEDs or whatever the case is. And so I just completely lost respect for the guy. Did not like him at all. Did not like his attitude. Like every time he got a microphone in his face, it seemed like he just did anything he could to not make himself look better, which I guess I'll give him kudos for keeping it real. He wasn't trying to put on a facade. And I know some of it might have been because he just got tired of being hounded and that the pressure was, really high on him and had been since he was like an 18-year-old kid or whatnot. So I understand to a degree, I'm sure that he finally just had enough and, and he's still trying to figure out who he was to some degree. So I want to give some grace there because I don't know what it's like to be in that situation. 99.999% of the human population on Earth don't know what it's like to be in the situation that people like AROD found themselves in. So I don't want to act like, I get it because I don't, but I do want to say it's something that only few people probably can come out of that unscathed with that type of money and celebrity and power and whatnot. So, but the reason why I was bringing this up is because over the last couple of months, he's been doing a TV, show, but him and I think another guy is like, I don't know, Anthony and AROD or something. I forgot the other guy's name, Tony and AROD. But they do a Sunday Night Baseball where they, on ESPN, I think 2, where they do like a Sunday night game, and they did I believe 8 games this season. They might have one more or something like that, where they're just shooting the breeze with each other. There's another guy, I think he was maybe like a sports commentator, some kind of announcer or something. And then AROD sitting there with them, and they'll be either at his house, they'll be in the studio, they'll be somewhere. And it's like a picture-in-picture, but them talking about baseball, and they'll do interviews with, they had Bob Costas on, they've had Jeter, they have Derek, or they have Johnny Damon. They'll have other sportscasters that have been, famous over the years. and it's just them talking baseball, and you can see, at least I can see, that it just seemed like a genuine dude talking, and referencing the AROD, and I've seen him talk, I think, on MLB Network and stuff before, also, where he talks about like hitting and just like trying to show like there's another side of him. And it's kind of cool to see that, because he's one of the few players that I always liked, but this kind of just, gave up on, because it just seemed like he was just going completely off the rails. And I don't want to take away from what he did on the field. He cheated, that's there, but as far as, as a person, and as someone who looks like they are trying to rehabilitate their character and put themselves out there with so many of the other guys who got caught up in a lot of the same stuff, Roger Clemens and, Mark McGwire and, Barry Bonds, and those guys have done not much in the way of trying to rehabilitate themselves or even try to make nice or play nice. The A-Rod's kind of went into the fire, and I respect a guy who knows that he has so many detractors, so many people rooting against him, wanting to see him fail, and just still day after day put himself out there in situations that are probably uncomfortable for him in a lot of ways. Could it all be an act? Sure, of course it could be, but I mean, that's the way it is in every scenario when you're dealing with any type of celebrity. It could be just all an act. But I mean, like I said, I didn't see every single one of his episodes he's done with this other guy on the ESPN2, but I've seen, I don't know, 4 of them, maybe now 5 of them. So I've seen the majority of those episodes, and I've really enjoyed it. I mean, obviously he knows baseball. He knows how to talk about baseball. He obviously is a student of the game. I mean, he played at the highest level and being one of the highest players at that level. So, I mean, he definitely gets it. I mean, he has a cornucopia of knowledge that few have. And so, from those perspectives, of course, he's very knowledgeable. But I just thought it was very cool to see that. I like it, see him laughing, having a good time, kind of have some unguarded moments, and again, can it all be curated and what's the word I'm looking at? Manicured in a way to make it look a certain way? Sure, of course it could. But, it just seems like, a lot of times I think a lot of us have BS readers. I feel like I have a good discernment about people and things. Excuse me. And I feel like after watching so much of it, I was like, you know what? I feel, he's being the genuine article, and I don't know. I really liked what I've been seeing and what I've been hearing from him. Now, do I think he should get the Hall of Fame? No, he cheated. I mean, that just goes without saying. But that goes across all the people that cheated, got caught up. I mean, he was actually caught cheating. And that's a huge thing. That's a big no-no for me. I mean, it pains me to know that Ortiz is in the Hall of Fame when he got caught, I think, 3 different times cheating. So I mean, at this point, they're going to just start letting everybody in. I'm assuming, unless they really just hate you, they're going to let people in, because I mean, how can you let Ortiz in and then not let some of these other guys in when he got caught 3 different times because he's so beloved in baseball, and he just sits there and just does his little laughing and just plays like the happy-go-lucky guy, just kind of like, oh shucks kind of guy, and just like, I'm out there having a good old time, even though I mean, he obviously knows what he was doing. He's not an idiot. But anyways, that's not what this is about. But yeah, I mean, you got to think about that, because look at all the people that have not been able to rehabilitate their character and put the best foot forward. There's quite a few, and like I mentioned, like the Barry Bonds, like he hasn't done much. McGwire, hasn't done much. Clemens hasn't done much. Then you have other players that are, and other, like I said, celebrities out there who haven't really done much to do that. So, I'm gonna, ask the question: are there any certain players, keeping with sports, because we could do, famous musicians and celebrities as actors and things as well, but since this is more sports related, I'll leave it at sports. Has there been an athlete in your mind that has really rubbed you wrong? You personally, not just in general, but like It could be a famous person or a non-famous person, someone that you looked up to or really thought a lot of, either growing up or even as an adult, that had then, you know, ruined their career or tarnished their image, and you didn't have much hope for of, being able to rehabilitate and get themselves back up on the old hobby horse and ride into the sunset. And then at the 11th hour, they were able to figure it out and get back out there and show that they actually are a stand-up individual. I was wondering if you had that out there, if anybody else had that experience with somebody you kind of wrote off, and then that they came back and surprised you in a positive way. And I would like to, just leave that either, obviously do a video would be great, but if you want to try to remain positive, right? Like on my channel, as you know, I can go pretty negative or just kind of just be like keeping it real. But I do like to bring out some positivity from time to time. And today I felt pretty positive. So if you want to like leave a comment below about it, maybe a player, any sport, it doesn't have to be baseball, that, did something that you really did not like, you were a fan of prior to the incident or incidents, and then they were able to turn it around eventually. That would be cool to hear that. I'd be really interested to hear what people have to come up with, because, I think we always, as a society, like to, dig down on people who are down in the dumps and make mistakes. And sometimes their mistakes are, and people pile on it, and rightfully so. And other times, we need to show grace and some humility. And, because if we were in the public eye the same way a lot of these people are, how would we handle it? So, but sometimes, like AROD at the time, like I was saying, it was that he didn't make it any better. He was, combative. He was unapologetic. He was just like kind of a douchebag, to be honest. And then, as he's gotten older, maybe more mature, loosened up a bit in his older age, away from the game now. Maybe he did some reflecting and realized, that's maybe not the image I want people to have of me. That's not the kind of legacy I want. Maybe he thinks by being like the everyday common man type of mentality and kind of putting himself out there in these situations, it'll endear him to the Hall of Fame committee and fans in general. Like I said, it could be ulterior motives. Or maybe he just being genuine, like I said, and it's like, hey, regardless if it helps me get myself in and greases the wheels a bit to try to get myself into the Hall of Fame, I'm going to do this because this is who I really am. So just wanted to throw that out there, see what you all thought. If you all have similar athletes that you have found this to be something that you kind of been able to be happy about and go back to, with so much bad news, and then the bad news right now with baseball with the Wander Franco situation, just like a lot of you're kind of excited about. Get caught cheating, and Juan Soto not being anywhere near the level he was in the past. There hasn't been a lot of like superstars in baseball that have actually panned out in recent years. And I don't make it sound like some of the guys that are hurt aren't, they're in the same league with AROD, not at all. But the feel good stories of like what you're hoping for just haven't come. Aaron Judge is another one, hasn't really come to fruition this year in particular, with the way injuries have been going down with a lot of these guys. So kind of cool to maybe try to think of some situations where we're talking about a positive, where you had wrote somebody off and they came back and had shown that maybe they are actually indeed a good guy, a decent guy, and that they can try to rehabilitate their character a bit. So you leave those responses below if you could. I would definitely like to get some feedback. If you want to do some explanation, if it's possible, that'd be even better. But I thought it'd be something fun to discuss if we have a handful of people out there. So anyways, guys, I appreciate you all listening and watching me as I go into my work today. And we will do it again, I'm sure, here in the near future. So until next time, peace out.